Have you ever sat at your desk, watching the clock, feeling your energy drain minute by minute, even though nothing's technically wrong? Maybe your job is secure, the pay is decent, the people are fine, but still, something feels off. Why do you keep daydreaming about starting your own business, writing that book, or just escaping somewhere new? What if this constant craving for freedom and change is not just a personality quirk, but something written into you, literally? Something embedded not in your resume or your horoscope, but in your fingerprints. Strange? Maybe. But let us dig deeper. What if your fingerprints could explain why stability feels like a prison and predict the kind of work that truly fulfills you? Fingerprints are often seen as nothing more than an identification tool, unique, sure, but mostly used by law enforcement or biometric systems. But for decades, researchers and psychologists have explored a deeper layer: the relationship between fingerprint patterns and behavioral tendencies. One particular field, known as Dermatoglyphics, investigates the connection between fingerprint types and how people naturally think, feel, and make decisions. While not everyone agrees on the science, those who study it claim that the ridges on your fingers may reveal more than just your identity. They could reveal your nature. And this leads us to a very specific group of people, those whose fingerprints show an unusually high need for independence and creative stimulation. Let us talk about two specific fingerprint types: the special Whorl, WX, WP, and the reversed loop, RL. These are not your everyday prints. They show up less frequently and are often linked to unique mental wiring. The special Whorl, WX, WP. The natural nonconformist, Whorl-type fingerprints form circular or spiral-like patterns, but the WX and WP variations are even more distinct. People with these patterns are known to despise restriction. They often score high in traits like self-determination, originality, and an inner drive to break free from traditional expectations. If you have this fingerprint type, you probably recognize the feeling. The moment something becomes too routine, your brain shuts down. Repetition drains you. Systems feel like cages. You are not lazy. You are just not wired for the same day, every day. You thrive on freedom, autonomy, and the ability to steer your own ship. Whether it is a project, a company, or a creative endeavor, you want to own it, not just follow someone else's instructions. The reversed loop, RL, the mind that keeps evolving. The reversed loop is even more intriguing. It is like a visual metaphor for someone who thinks in loops, but in reverse. These individuals often possess a rare ability to challenge norms, shift perspectives, and think far ahead of the curve. An RL-type person does not just accept new ideas, they create them. Change is not something they endure, it is something they crave. They get restless when the environment becomes too predictable. Their strength lies in mental agility, ideation, and relentless exploration. Put an RL fingerprint in a job that values repetition over innovation, and you will likely get burnout fast. We often assume that a stable job is always a good thing. A steady paycheck, clear expectations, predictable days. For many, this is the ultimate dream. But what if, for some, stability is not comfort? It is confinement. For people with WX, WP, or RL fingerprints, this kind of predictability can lead to subtle, creeping dissatisfaction. It might not look dramatic on the outside, but internally, it can feel like drowning in slow motion. Let us break it down. Loss of motivation. Once the challenge is gone, so is the interest. What excited you in week 1 becomes mind-numbing by month 3. Identity crisis. These individuals often begin to question, is this really who I am? They feel disconnected not just from the job, but from themselves. Decreased performance. Ironically, these high-potential people may start to underperform, not because they lack ability, but because their environment lacks resonance. Emotional fatigue. When your job clashes with your natural rhythm, even rest does not feel restorative. The fatigue becomes existential. What is happening here is not laziness, entitlement, or a lack of grit. It is a biological mismatch between the environment and the brain's operating system. So what does a right fit look like for people with high independence fingerprints? It does not mean chaos. It does not mean quitting your job tomorrow and backpacking across Asia, unless that is your actual dream. It means understanding what types of work environments bring you alive and seeking or shaping your life accordingly. Ideal careers might include entrepreneurship. Building your own business gives you the autonomy and constant problem-solving you crave. Creative fields, writing, design, film, and innovation-based industries allow for ongoing exploration and expression. Consulting or freelance work. These offer freedom, flexibility, and a sense of ownership over projects. Tech and startups. Constant change, evolving challenges, and room for initiative. But even within a traditional job, if you are someone with an RL or WX print, the key is to advocate for role flexibility, project variety, and creative input. You might not need to leave the company, but you might need to redesign how you function within it. Here's the hard truth. If you are a highly independent thinker stuck in a stable, predictable job for too long, the damage can be more than boredom. It can become a kind of self-erasure. You begin to shrink your ambitions to match the environment. You talk yourself out of risks. You forget that your brain was made for more. You may even begin to internalize guilt or frustration, asking yourself, why can't I just be grateful? But that question misses the point. Gratitude does not require self-abandonment, and fitting in is not the same as flourishing. Understanding your fingerprint tendencies is not about putting yourself in a box. It is about recognizing the shape of your potential so you can stop trying to squeeze it into spaces where it does not belong. If you have ever felt like your 9-to-5 is slowly dulling your spirit, if you have ever caught yourself sabotaging stable jobs for reasons you cannot fully explain, perhaps it is time to stop blaming yourself. Maybe you were never meant for the safe lane. Maybe your fingerprints have been trying to tell you this all along. This is not a call to recklessness. It is a call to alignment, a nudge to honor your inner drive for freedom, novelty, and meaningful challenge. Because when your nature and your work finally match, something powerful happens. You do not just survive the week, you come alive inside it. Curious about what your own fingerprints say about you? Want to know if you are wired for independence, creativity, or leadership? Head over to Fingerprint Secrets on YouTube, where we decode the fascinating world of fingerprint psychology and help you understand your potential, one fingertip at a time, because your story might just be written in your hands. Let's read it together. Subscribe now to Fingerprint Secrets and start designing a life that fits you.